couple of years ago now, after spending hundreds of hours both researching and creating my project on Photech, I was so inspired by all of his techniques that I decided to grab myself an EMU E5000 Ultra hardware sampler just to see what all the fuss was about. What I could tell almost instantly is that the EMU has a really unique sound quality to it, which is so different from all the plugins and software samplers I've used in the past. Especially the pitching algorithm or interpolation method seems to be a bit more characterful than the software counterparts, and it also has some amazing inbuilt effects, and the filters on the EMU are super musical, so you can crank the resonance and sweep them, and they generally sound pretty amazing. So you often get inbuilt effects that come with these hardware samplers that have a very specific character to them as well. As soon as you get a piece of equipment like this, you quite quickly realise why people go so nuts over hardware, and you suddenly find yourself getting really attached to these innate metal boxes, even to the point where you would sacrifice friendships or relationships or maybe even a marriage just to hold on to your precious selection of 90s hardware samplers.
David, my dad, you're the love of my life.
Yes, this equipment has value both in the sound quality and how inspiring and fun hardware can be to work with. But as I'm going to show you today, even with a host of free plugins, you can still make really great sounding music that perfectly captures that old school vibe. Well, in this video today, we're taking things a step further. We're going beyond hardware and plugins, and we're going straight into outer space. I've got an appointment with an intergalactic arms dealer that I'm already late for, so strap in as we blast off on a cosmic journey to create some space-themed 90s style jungle with free plugins and Amigo.
Beneath a starry night sky, on a distant planet, a neon-lit market bustles with life. The intergalactic plug-in dealer waits silently, his face completely obscured by a sleek black helmet.
I've been expecting you. Word travels fast across galaxies. You're the one trying to resurrect that 90s jungle vibe, aren't you? This chip contains knowledge from the outer reaches. All the secret sound techniques for 90s space jungle. Pads, break layering, and pitch bending that'll make your beats sound like they're echoing across the stars.
So what's the catch then?
No catch, just a trade. That old Akai time stretcher you've got there. Hand it over, and this chip is yours.
I'll be sad to part ways with this, but I've got to see what's on that chip. Looks like we have a deal then.
Okay, so now we've finally got our hands on the chip, let's dive in and have a look at some of the best free plugins for jungle producers in 2024. Okay, so to start with, there are an amazing selection of software instruments now available to us completely for free, and probably some noticeable favourites here are Vital, which is very similar to Serum and is a great all-round wavetable and subtractive synth. And then actually the Disco DSP OBXD, the hardware version of that costs thousands of pounds, and this one is completely free and really does sound amazing for a free VST. That's probably my favourite of the bunch. And then finally, Sitala is an amazing free drum sampler, which is much more suited to one-shot samples and drum machine samples, where you can drag all the individual hits in and then pitch them around and shape them. And then Amigo I would go for chopping breaks and pitching up pads and stuff like that, even though it is the only paid plugin I've included in this whole video. I do think it's got amazing value. For £10 it's such a steal, and yeah, I'm a big supporter of this plugin and think it's pretty incredible. Processing wise, I actually tested out loads of different plugins for this video, but thought it'd be more useful to condense them all down to just have one plugin for each effects type. And so these are all my most essential and my favorite effects that I've used in making this project. There are also a few plugins and a few plugin manufacturers that stand head and shoulders above the others. Air Windows consolidated for me now. The way he's packaged all of these free Air Windows plugins into a much easier to access UI is really a game changer for me, and the Galactic reverb especially is unbelievably good. If anyone's used Valhalla Shimmer or Valhalla Supermassive, the Galactic reverb is another amazing choice for those huge expansive reverbs, so I was loving using that on this project. Another amazing plugin is this virus emulation, and it's a little bit tricky to get working. I remember having to kind of fight the installation process of this a little bit to get it to work on my Mac, but it is doable, and I will put a link, I think it was a Reddit post I originally saw this, below, and I know Stranger's got a video going through this as well. I already spoke a little bit about Amigo before, but I just want to reiterate that this plugin is such a beast and definitely deserves to be here in this special mention section. One other thing is that the developers are actually working on a few updates of this that should be coming in the next month or two, so stay tuned for that everyone, because there's lots of great new features coming soon. Finally, Spitfire Labs also has some amazing patches, and I use the percussion ones all the time, and the strings is great, and of course the soft piano by them is an absolute killer patch also. When we're talking about making jungle, of course having a good selection of VST software instruments and plugins and effects is really important, but actually having a good selection of samples is just as, if not more important than having the plugins. We all now live in a day and age where the internet has provided us with the most amazing resource for finding sounds and samples online. From downloading YouTube videos, to looking up these old sample CDs that are now all available, to quickly scrolling through movies and film and taking little snippets from them, it's never been easier to find sounds online. One other really good resource is Sample Packed, and specifically my sample packs on my website. You can check the link in the description. I've got loads of pads and bass and effects all aimed at this 90s jungle style. Okay, so I think I might just leave it there for today actually, and not go and do like a 40-minute video like I sometimes do. That's my new strategy with YouTube, is just to keep things a little bit more, a little bit shorter, more concise, maybe more engaging with lots of animations like I did in this video. Anyway, if anyone wants any of the links to the plugins or the samples or the websites I use, I've put everything down in the description so you can go and grab them there. And then we will be back next week with all the techniques I used to make this track. So lots of atmospheric pads and drum stuff, drum layering, drum fills. I've got some of my favorite delay tricks, as well as some a really cool way to make effects. I did all the effects in this project were customly done, actually using Amigo, a cool trick in Amigo. And then I've got some processing stuff, and finally just some arranging and showing the kind of macro side of it. So lots of good stuff coming, and I will catch you very soon in that video. Peace.